Hi Peter, thank you for joining me. Please introduce yourself and your company.
I'm Pete Pugh-Jones. I'm the head of technology for SAS UK and Ireland.
And what does SAS do?
So SAS is one of the longest or oldest privately owned software companies in the world that focuses on analytics and how to make analytics part of a business process and bring value to customers that way.
And we're here today to talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and a lot of buzzwords there. But what does AI mean to you and to SAS?
Sure. So, for me, I find AI a fascinating area to be in. And it's one of the most exciting places to be at the moment in the software world and in the computing world. It can, however, have a little bit of hype associated with it, which I'm sure you might be aware of. And so for me, I think of it as being the convergence of various different parts of the software technologies to enable smoother real-time interactions with either people or machines.
And what type of AI are you working with at the moment?
So SAS is very lucky because it has a very wide-ranging set of industries that we work with across all the different types of sectors. So that allows us to take ideas that have been generated from some areas of business and help make those happen in other areas of business. So a lot of the stuff we do is sort of customer intelligence related things in the retail space, but we can just as easily implement some of those fascinating areas in security, homeland security, and also policing and other areas too.
Now, we've seen a massive jump in the amount of data that companies, governments, individuals are creating. How does SAS help businesses handle that data and then apply these more advanced tools like AI on top?
One of the things you can do with artificial intelligence is that you can generate models or analytical models that you might use. You might generate those off-site or at rest with data at rest with samples of data. Then you can take those models and implement them live in the stream. I like to think of it as a stream. So if you think of all the data that's coming from all the different things you might be interested in at any time as that stream of data, you could sort of stick your head in it and run the bits of information you're interested in through those algorithms that you've generated.
And that essentially allows you to achieve sort of real-time analytics, real-time answers to questions as the data's feeding in.
Yes, absolutely, and also provides you with an ability to do machine learning and deep learning capabilities off that data, because of course it can learn as the data changes what might need to happen in the future. Yeah.
So in terms of examples, who's using this? Who's using the streaming technology? Who's using AI? Who are you working with?
So we're quite lucky to work with a variety of partners actually. So we don't try and get involved in things that we're not specialised in. So what we like to do is work with companies like Cisco, who take some of our analytical capabilities and put them into the devices that they use on the networking systems that they create, like routers and so on. But we also work with customers in, as I said earlier, lots of different sectors. So supermarkets are very interested in what they can do with customer intelligence, and to the best of our ability, try and help them understand where to draw the line on what things they should be looking at. But it helps them decide the kinds of things they want to do to engage and keep their customer base faithful.
And what's that allowing them to do that they couldn't previously do with the advancements in these algorithms?
Well, so the idea is that you can take new sources of data that may be from a totally different area from what you're familiar with. So a supermarket is a good example where they would have a loyalty card. They might know certain things about your shopping habits. They might be able to enrich that data live, perhaps with information to do with the weather in the local area or any events that are going on locally. But what they wouldn't have been able to do before was perhaps enrich that with information to do with where you parked in the car park relative to somebody else who might shop at the same time as you, and whether that's someone you might know or might not know, and whether there's some sort of shared interest in that relationship, and whether there's some benefit to either you or them in some way. Obviously it has to be a benefit to everybody in knowing that information and making use of it.
And lastly, where do you see this going? In a few years' time, what do you think SAS is going to be doing with AI?
So I think SAS already does quite a lot of things with AI, but we have to be careful with the definition of artificial intelligence, obviously, because there are various different levels of it. You could argue that quite a lot of AI is a very small I on the on the intelligence side at the moment. So, but I think where you'll see things like SAS being used much more is in connected cars, connected devices, in the IoT space, because of the partnerships we have with all those companies. And quite a lot, I suspect, will be embedded in a lot of consumer systems over time, which will allow us to help people produce much greater insight from the analytics they're running.
Peter, thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.